thing. Welcome back, everyone, to 2325 Fitness. I just forgot the name of my own podcast. To 2325 Fitness with your host, Rafi Husseini and Talha Javed. Today, we have with us Wes Patterson. Wes has lost about 100 pounds and achieved a dream body that a lot of people only dream of. And one of the most really unique things about Wes is that he's a complete vegan. That's why we have Wes here with us to talk about his journey and how he's so successfully able to, as they say, mold and sculpt his body into what it is today. How's it going, Wes?
I'm doing fine, man. I'm doing great out here in Austin, Texas. You know, did a nice little project right now. It's freezing inside of Chicago, so I'm blessed to be in a warm climate.
Awesome.
How you doing?
Yeah, you are from Illinois, and I'm from Detroit, so I totally understand that.
Yeah, I'm loving it.
Awesome. So we just wanted to quickly, get you started and get the audience engaged. Tell us about your motivation. I mean, you lost 100 pounds. For every single person that loses some kind of significant amount of weight, there's always that trigger. There's always that one factor that starts it for them. What was it for you?
So for me, everybody that's watching, me growing up, I was always overweight. I was always a big guy, and my family looked like, everybody was kind of slimmer. So growing up in my childhood, kids can be a little rough, and I was made fun of my entire life. I was made fun of in grammar school, high school, and even college, even in adulthood. So it really affected my mental health big time because it made me insecure. So being called them names and not liking my physique itself, looking in the mirror and not liking myself, that really triggered it even more. So long story short, I had a really bad breakup, and you know how it is being in a really long-term relationship. I even had a kid with this person, and when we split up, of course you want to know why. As a man or a woman, you want to know why, and the reason why is because I guess this person said that I got a little bit too big and I wasn't attracted to her anymore. So what that did, it attacked me and brought me back to the old days. And after that, I got so tired of it. And I said, this thing has been haunting me since my childhood. I need to change it now, or it's gonna keep affecting me. I won't grow as a business owner, a man, or a father. So that's when the motivation came from. The entire.
That's so, and I'm really sorry to hear that, Wes, but it's really so unrealistic when we talk about these things and when we see that. Is this even a possibility? Like people leaving others, breaking a relationship just because of how they look? Yeah. I mean, it's also materialistic that it comes to it. And for you, did you ever play sports even though you were big, or did you ever get into that side before, or did you try to work out or try to maintain that?
Yeah, so good question. So in the summertime, once again, being a kid that really didn't care about exercise and sports, I was a little geek. I played video games a lot. So my mom pretty much in the summertime forced us to get into something, boxing, a sport. Turns out I kind of like the football. So I said, maybe if I play football, I'll lose some weight. I like fitness. And I got in it. I liked it, started to really like it, become somewhat of a good player for my school. And then unfortunately, I got injured. Got my AC joint knocked out. So, of course, that held me back from training. Of course, that demotivated me to get into working out. So I just quit at that. I went back to my old ways,
So you did have some background, and then with the injury, of course, which a lot of people sets it back for them. And me and Talha, we can definitely relate to it. I have 2 partial tears in my knee. Talha had an ankle injury for a while, which kind of set him back. But then it's really impressive that you still pushed yourself, and then when that heartbreaking moment happened for you. That's what changed it for you. And I would applaud you for not stopping there. So really, really appreciate
Mm.
the fact that you kept going.
Yeah, man. You know what? So many people, including myself, I think when you really want something in life, not only fitness, and it keeps nagging at you, it's like this irritating bug or mosquito, right? They keep getting by your ear and you can't get it, right? You're smacking it and smacking it. That's how I feel with my goals. I want to achieve them so bad, even if I try to doubt myself, it keeps nagging at me. It keeps coming at me until I finally grab it and achieve it.
Mm.
That's how I feel.
So how about like from the start of your fitness journey when you made the huge progress that you did, that you lost 100 pounds, from when you started till now, just a brief highlight so the listeners can kind of see the significance and the impact that you have on your body. How much did you weigh? How much do you weigh now? And what was that journey like?
Oh, great question. So when I started, I was 275. Pretty heavy for 6'3". That's pretty big. And started October 2014, remember the date. Started with my coach, my mentor who I met. Told him my story. He was so sad. And after that, he guaranteed me if I follow his meal plan and train with him, he can turn my body into a masterpiece and help me lose 100. So what was crazy to everybody that's listening, how did I just jump and get addicted to it? No. Somebody that's switching over from eating fast food, burgers, pizzas, junks, switching over to like grilled foods, AKA born foods, vegetables, that was tough. And can't have what I want to have. It was tough. But where did the motivation come from? Every month, I dropped some weight, 5, 10 pounds. I put my clothes on. My waist was loose. My clothes was looser. I'm starting to feel happy. I'm getting in the mirror doing check-in pictures. I'm slimming up. And as anybody knows, when you have this insecurity with your body and it starts to change slowly, and let's add a plus to it. People start noticing. People start saying, hey, look like you're slimming down. That's when that motivation really kicks in. So as months, every month that went past, 10, first it was 5. Then I really started getting aggressive. Then it was 10, second month. Then I really started going hard. Start feeling the addiction of going to the gym. Third month, 29 pounds.
Wow.
Fourth month, 20 even. People thought I was sick. People in my family thought, believe it or not, I had cancer or something. That I was just dropping weight and looking skinny in my face. And after that, fourth month, I said, there's no way I can go back. There's no way I can go back. I lost friends. And people that's listening, I lost friends through this journey because I couldn't go out and drink anymore. I couldn't go party. You know, girls that, well, a girl or whoever I was talking to, couldn't associate myself with them because they wasn't with the lifestyle. It was what threw me off. That's how dedicated I was. I wanted it so bad. Whoever got in my way, pretty much dismissed them out of my life. And by the 6th month, we calculated everything. My body was completely different as a different human being. It was scary. It brought so many tears to my eyes. And I looked in the mirror, I said, that's not me. I had abs, no hanging fat, no more male boobs. It was shocking. And that's why people look at my page and say, how do you still have them old pictures? Because I was forced to do check-in pictures every Sunday. And I hated them too. I hated sending it to them. But we have all the documents from the whole 6 months that I lost 100 pounds.
That's awesome.
And it's really interesting because I can definitely relate to that, and Tolha knows as well. Like I lost about 40-50 pounds. I had the same issue. They're like people that I have not seen in a while, and because I lost so much weight, they couldn't recognize me. They're like who are you? I literally I would go up to them and tell them, hey, how's it going? And they were like, do I know you? Like this has happened. And even my family, they're like, you're anorexic, like you're losing so much. There was a time when I was losing weight and I had to get my wisdom tooth pulled out. So now at that point, I wasn't even eating the proper food and I dropped more weight. So I was already in that pain going through the thing, and people thought I was actually sick. It's just really interesting that unless you see the difference from an outside perspective for yourself, you're just like, man, like, am I even putting the work? Is it even something that I can see?
Wow. Dude, that's fucking, I love, and believe it or not, bro, I love hearing stories. Right there, I felt that. And I love that. This is why I love the fact that we can share these stories, uplift each other, because you don't know an individual journey. You don't know my journey. I don't know yours. So when we share with each other and share with the world our story, we create a change. We create impact. We provide value.
Right. So when you started, though, you mentioned you had a mentor. Would you say that was a huge, a plus in your favors, meaning someone who knew what they were doing and had a plan laid out for you rather than just jumping into it blindly? And part of that also, the changes that were made monthly, did that encourage you, or was that even a factor in? I know it sounds like it was. I just want the listeners to hear for your side of it, what kept you going and what helped your whole path and your journey and stuff.
So that's a great question. So check this out. I wasted 2 years before I met my mentor trying to do it on my own. And I can warn anybody right now that watch this podcast, trying to do it by yourself, it's tough. You can't hit Google. This is something you can't Google. The science is too difficult. A computer can't break it down. Either you get the knowledge yourself or you find a mentor. So I wasted 2 years and didn't get any progress. So when I met him, that's when the progress changed. And where the addiction came from, because after 6 months, he was a PE teacher. So he had to go back. So of course, let's talk about body dysmorphia. You have this fear that this person that holds you accountable, that you're checking in with all the time, you have to see every week personally, every day. So when that disappears, what does that person do mentally? You start to get scared and say, damn, I might fall off, because you have nobody holding you accountable. You have to hold yourself accountable. And hold yourself accountable, that's a strong mindset. My mindset wasn't that strong. So what I did, right after he left, 2015, I got my certification from NASA so I can get the knowledge on my own and I can continue building, because I wasn't satisfied. I said, if I look this good and I loved it as a lifestyle, why not just keep building away? And then why not become a personal trainer and provide even more value? Because now I can help others achieve their goals. And now I have a purpose out here. So that's what I did.
You
I like that.
Once you're done recording later on, when you have time, I gotta connect with you for the NSM CPT. I'm out for my exam in like a couple of weeks. I'm gonna schedule it out, so it's kind of overwhelming.
Dude, well, NASM is the best. If anybody told you, they are the best. And once you go through that course, I can definitely give you some tips, whatever you need. But it's gonna blow your mind once you go through that course. I'm telling you now.
I'm actually like done with the module, so we'll talk more definitely like tips and things how to get through the exam.
Oh, okay, I got you. I know it all from the back of my heart. I just got my stuff renewed maybe like 3 months ago. So
awesome.
So Wes, did you do that like 6 months into your fitness journey? Like after your mentor had to leave, you decided to go that route of getting your certificate?
So what I did, after the 6 months, I did another 6 months of just doing stuff on my own, because I figured like, okay, I can kind of do this. And then I wouldn't say I plateaued, but then I kind of felt like I'm not getting any more knowledge, because every time I trained with him, he gave me new tips, new techniques, but he wasn't around. So once he reached out to me, because I asked him about training, he said, hey, I think you should get your personal trainer certification. So that was 2014, January 1st, 2015. I went and got my personal trainer certification.
That's impressive.
Awesome. That is impressive. And just for the listeners that are listening, there is such a thing as knowledge plateau as well. So you can actually you can stop at a point where you can't learn beyond it unless you go out and do the research.
My favorite part about that is you wanted to pass it on, man. You didn't want to just keep it to yourself, show people I made this progress, but instead you wanted to teach others and essentially influence them and motivate them. Hey, man, you can do this too. That's awesome. That's huge.
Yeah, man. Yeah, man. It's a lot of people out here, man, that needs that. And like I said, I would call, like, through my journey, it was basically being bullied, man. And it's a lot of people out here up to this day is getting bullied in all aspects, not even just weight. And they're getting tore down, man. That mental health aspect is real. So this is tearing their self-esteem down. And what does that does? It brings down their entire castle when they go to work, when they have to present. It's so vital that we make sure we take care of ourselves and love ourselves and really make sure we get our minds right. Right now, man, I've never in my life felt so good and so confident. Why? Because that insecurity is taken away now. So what happens? I'm a better business owner now. I'm a better father. I'm a better man. I walk into business meeting now with my suit on, feeling confident. I'm basically saying, you're going to pay me this money. Not like that directly, but that's my confident level now. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So I like that, what's it called? You know, a lot of people, what you're talking about, insecurity is so real. A lot of people that you see you today might just think you've lived and grew up like this, like you've been fit your whole life and this and that, but you're not afraid to share your story and encourage others to start their journey. That's the biggest part of it to me. And I think people need to realize, like, everybody has to start somewhere. Someone's not going to be born with six-pack abs and this and that and all of that. So that's what you, Wes, and then us, we're trying to do the same thing, is get people started on that journey and give them tips and advice. So from going back to the start of your journey, let's just narrow it down to 3 tips you have for people. Like, let's say a standard answer would be food, your routine and whatever, but what are 3 tips to narrow it down to get someone started?
Have a plan. And what I mean by have a plan, have a real goal, have a realistic goal. I recommend everybody on here to make a vision board. Try to visualize of how you want your physique to look. Like, you have to have some type of sketch, right? If we just dive into just doing cardio weight training, you get a trainer. You don't have like a sketch plan, right? It's just like if you try to build a building without actually drawing the details and mapping it out, right? You're just guessing. So what I did, I made a vision board. My coach made me do a vision board. He said, how do you want to look? Find inspiration that's your height, 6'3" or whatever, and really vibe on it. Think about it for a week before we started. So guess what I picked out? I picked out Simeon Panda. Been following him since YouTube. He's actually 6'3", hairstyle and everything, his personality. He's a real God-fearing man. So I said, looked at his physique. I showed my coach. He didn't laugh. He didn't do nothing. He said, anything is achievable. This is what you want. Let's do it.
Mm-hmm.
So
That's
I would
awesome.
recommend. Did you say top 3 tips, or do you want me to start off with one? Do you want to elaborate?
Let's do that. Let's elaborate on that. Yeah.
Okay.
So you chose Simeon Panda. I follow him. I don't know how you pronounce his name, but I follow him as well.
He's from UK. Him and
Ulysses.
There's 2 people.
Is that Ulysses? Yeah. Those
Yeah,
two are
they partners. That's their partner. They partners in crime.
Right. So when you started off with that, the biggest thing I heard right now was your coach didn't like laugh or anything, or mentor didn't laugh at you. He was like, all right, let's do this. Nothing's impossible. I think that's a mindset thing in itself right there. That's what stuck out to me, was you got to have that mindset with that visualization you're talking about. So going forward, after you said, like, this is what I'm going to be, was it discouraging at times, saying, you know, it's not going to happen, just being realistic, what you have to go through? Or was it just perfect? Like, my coach knows what he's doing, I'm going to make it happen, and it's just going to happen. What was that journey after that?
I had some doubts. I'm not going to lie. I'm human. Every time I looked at like Simeon and his physique, and I was kind of progressing, even though he'd been in the game, I think about 17 years, you know, of course I wanted to like look like him so fast, because that's how I think all of us think in the beginning of our journey, right? And I'm like, man, I started to get really discouraged, because every month, and you know, my body, my muscles wasn't growing as fast. But my coach kept reminding me, and then me going through my certification, it does take time, you know, and you have to be patient, because it is really a process. It's really that word that when they say trust the process, that's real. So at times I got discouraging, and then at times I was like, you know what? It's going to take some time. And if it's a lifestyle, if I'm going to live my entire life doing this, but when I grow old and have kids and when I get married, fuck it. I'm just going to enjoy the process then and just see what happens. So yeah, so I was discouraged.
Life, got you. Lifestyle. The key word is lifestyle. You got to make that lifestyle change. It's not just going to happen for a week or 2 weeks and you go back to what you were doing. You're going to be just like that when you began. Like, yeah,
it's like,
sure.
as they say, it's a marathon, not a sprint.
Right.
Not at all.
Okay, what's point number 2, would you say, or advice tip number 2?
Tip number 2. Now, you know what I got to say, because it is the biggest tip of all changes, whether you're trying to put on muscle, bulk, shred down or whatever. No, I said number one. I said number one. No, number two, because I said number one is a plan, mindset. Because I have to say that before diet. Because if you don't have the mindset and you're trying to do the diet, that's super backwards. It's not going to work. So I think realistically, you have to sit down and however you meditate, however you really talk to yourself and really like bond with your spirit, I think you have to get your mind together and say, hey, this is what I want to do. I want to make this change for me. Not no girls, not no friends, not no family, not nobody. But you have to make the decision and say, I'm doing this for me. And once you make that decision, that's when it's full throttle. When your vision is open and saying, I want this for life and I'm going to achieve this, then that mindset is so powerful, can't nothing break it. Now that mindset is set to basically achieve that goal no matter what. Once you have that mindset with all aspects, not even with just fitness, let's be real, it really is game over.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Absolutely.
And then what about, I don't know if Ruffy has anything to add on to that.
No,
but,
I'm waiting for him to finish his third tips. I'm just so
yeah,
into
the third
conversation
one as well.
now.
Yeah, because I have something to add on, but I'm going to add on after your third advice that you have.
Oh, so you want me to go into the third one? You want to
Yeah. No, I'll after that, because there's some key factors that I feel like society in general just makes up. If you want to be fit, you got to do this, this, and this. But what you're saying relates to what I had to go through as well. I'm going to get back to it, but after your third point, I'll get back to that.
You got me now. You got me. Okay, cool. So then my third one, of course, is nutrition. I'm not going to just lay it just like flat nutrition. We're going to combine nutrition with discipline because it's two separate things. Anybody can sit up here and lay out a plan, eat broccoli, chicken, whatever for that same whatever, how many months or whatever. But if you don't have the discipline to stick to that plan or stick to that lifestyle or stick to that routine, you're going to be off. You know, nobody can turn a switch on and say, okay, I'm used to eating pizza, drinking soda, having any snacks, cookies, donuts, and all this stuff. And you switch the switch off and now you're eating grilled chicken, ground turkey, and impossible. It is tempting in so many ways. It's food. You know what I mean? Who doesn't love it? So once you actually have a structural plan where you have to be like, okay, these are the meals that I have to eat. When I go to work, I have to schedule these meals so I can be ready. I have to food prep. You have to always get all this stuff together because nutrition will hold you back, period, for whatever goal you're trying to achieve, no matter what. That's something you just can't outwork a bad diet. We've heard that so many times, and it really is facts. And that's the reason why, like on social media, in person, I get a lot of people that hit me up and they like, how much cardio should I do to get a six pack? Should I do like 60 minutes like you do? Should I be in the gym for 2 hours, Wes? And I probably for a couple months. And I always say the same thing. No, man, what you got to do is get that diet together first. Don't worry about cardio. Don't worry about none of that. I don't even want to train anybody until they get that nutrition together. So that is a really important tip. That's something that's a force field. It's a brick wall. You can't bust through it.
It's like it's the saying, you are what you eat or whatever that is. Yeah.
Exactly.
So going back to your first 2 points, I thought you were going to say something relating to that again, but actually nutrition is huge, so you can't just bypass that. But having a visual of like what you want to accomplish, that blueprint, because without that, you're just running into something blindly and you don't know what you're trying to do. It doesn't make sense. It needs to be structured. And then you said mindset after that. So both of those to me is like the mental state of mind you're in. You have to have that insecurity gone. I know it's tough and difficult, but a lot of it's all mental. Once you get that figured out and you have that plan in place, you know, when you're working out and you got to pull out those extra 2 or 3 reps, you're not going to do that without that mindset of being like, I can, rep these out and finish this. If you just give up, that's going to be a continuous pattern throughout your fitness journey, and you don't want that. So what you're mentioning to me is so powerful. Having that mindset going through this, that could go a lot more further than someone that's just going to be like, every day I'm going to go and lift. Maybe they're doing that every day, but then they're not getting the proper nutrition like you mentioned, and they're not making those gains with muscles or whatever it may be. So mindset to me is number 1. That's on my list too. Nutrition would be number 2 for sure. Reason being, everything you put into your body, it's with the output you get is you feel better, you have more energy, these fruits with vitamins, whatever it is. I don't know if Ruffy could add on to that more than I can, because I wasn't overweight like that. I was just easy growing up. I was a skinny kid who had to put on muscle, but I know Ruffy could attest to some of these things too.
No, it's definitely like really like the points that you said. I've told this to many of my friends and many of people that randomly ask me questions that like social media has corrupted people so much that they're
Yes.
like, hey, I want to get that body, but I also don't want to put in the work for 10 years. It doesn't work like that. You gotta, and you cannot, like, my workout are not going to be same as yours or Talha's. His workouts are not going to be same. His diet, everyone has their own thing that they have to attest to. For me, when it came to diet, I started slow. I started off with controlling portions. I started with what was easier for me. I cut out sugar. And eventually I started realizing, there's a lot more than just like controlling and stuff. You can manage it, you can meal prep, you can count your calories. There's so many different ways you can do it. But the biggest thing is that what I do is for myself, and it's always going to be unique to me. There's going to be some basic foundation that all of us probably have, but to get into that deep down, the muscle, the hypertrophy, the aesthetics, and even the performance, every single person, when it comes to them, is going to be doing what works for them, not what works for the other person.
Yeah.
Right.
You just killed the whole podcast with that. I wanted to bring that up, so I'm kind of like butthurt because you just destroyed that whole thing. But I mean, you're right, man. And can I tag on to it?
Oh, of course.
Like, real talk, I get these people, right? And look, I'm telling you, I don't hate them for this. I don't get mad at them for this. But I get so many DMs. Bro, can you send me your plan? Can you send me the same plan you was on in 2014? And by the way, can you add in there all your exercises as well? So I always say, look, man, like, yo, my body type is different. My genetics is different. My height is different, bro. I'm being funny when I'm about to say this, but yo, like, I'm black, you're white. Like, it's totally different. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, everything is unique. And what my services, what I provide, as far as me being a nutritionist as well, and because I got that in 2016, nobody has the same plan. And it's sad that you said social media is corrupt. I'm gonna tag on that. Social media, bro. Both of you guys can get on there. There's so many cons on there. And so many, hey,
Absolutely.
buy my $300 program and lose 70 pounds guaranteed. And then it's a cookie cutter plan that they give that same people to everybody. I've seen it a lot, and it's bad. And what happens is these people get fucked. Let's be real. They don't get the results they want. And what do? They look at all trainers as bad. They look at social media, they look at me, and they judge me and stuff like that. So what you said is right, man. Everybody is different. Your plan might not work for me. My plan might not work for you. This is why you have to get a nutritionist, a professional, and make sure you examine people, man. It's like
it's really like social media has just changed the game for everyone. Nobody realizes that these people who you see shredded 365 days a year are doing it with a lot of back end support, a lot of back end like supplementation, working out, trainers, and they even have their own struggles. I'm not saying it's easy. Like they're always like hungry, and most of these people, like, realistically, you don't see their current state. They've always done like tons and tons of photo shoots, and that's already put out there. So it's really interesting that we brought that up. Now, with that, I want to switch to transition to a little bit of like what is so unique about you, so unique about yourself. I really want to dig into it. You just mentioned it yourself, and I'm someone that is, everyone has their own preference, when it comes to meat and no meat and stuff like that. And I'm assuming you were a complete meathead or someone who used to eat a lot of meat before. How did this transition for you into going completely vegan? Like sudden change. And if you could also touch on if this was during your fitness journey or was it like before?
I'm about to tear this down right here because it's a lot. Not even I'm gonna make it short for everybody that's listening. So you're right. I did used to eat meat, and through bodybuilding, when I started my fitness career, my journey, I ate meat. What transpired? And basically in early 2020, being a bodybuilder, jumped into bodybuilding in 2017. Eating 7 meals a day, the same meats over and over and over again. As I'm getting older, my digestive system is changing. Sometimes your body can't process it the same anymore. It's hard. You're steady working out consistently. You're steady eating the same meals, water, supplements, and all of that. Your organs it takes a big hit. So what happened? One day, I'm not sure what happened. My digestive system was really just off. Like I was very constipated. And it didn't go away. It happened for like 3 weeks. Went to the doctor. They actually told me my main enzyme that usually breaks down your foods, it was having a tough time breaking down the meats. It was getting really heavy. I ate pretty much ground turkey, chicken, ground sirloin, red meat. All of that just mixed 7 meals for 6, 7 years consistently. Your organs can't really take it as much. Some people can, some people can't. Well, that's what we talked about, genetics. So what happened was that my doctor said I need to try like a vegan diet, something soft. So thank God, my girlfriend, she's been vegan her entire life, and she's a bodybuilder as well. So I had a little plug, and she actually owns a vegan meal prep company. She used to cook me foods. So how that transpired, I did it for 3 weeks. I had to do another checkup. So my digestive enzyme percentage went down from 80 to about 40. That's bad. But once I did it for 3 weeks, it went to 40 to 58. So we were like, okay. They said, let's do it for another week. Did another week, and then I did it for another additional 2 weeks, went back. It jumped up from the 40s to about 68. After that, the doctor said, hey, maybe you can do like some vegan food mixed with some meat. I looked at him and I said, you know what? If this is my health and my body is rejecting the meat, I care about my health. I want to see my daughter grow, my future kids. I'm done with it. I switched over. Went cold turkey, didn't go vegetarian, went straight to being a vegan, cut out meat, period.
Wow. So you're like completely like not occasionally, nothing at all anymore.
No, nothing from animals. Nothing.
Wow. That's really impressive. And like, what has been like a year, almost a year and a half now, you said?
Yep. Almost a year and a half.
That's crazy. I mean, that kind of transition, that completely cutting. I mean, I think it relates to both the aspects of like how you went from eating the burger, pizza, and all the unhealthy meals to like eating clean. And then you also switched out to like the unhealthy, healthy food, which is the meat and stuff, which is not really good for your health as much, to completely cutting it out. And again, I think you can build that into your mindset aspect, which really allows you to even make this kind of transition without any difficulty.
Yeah, man. And I'm gonna talk about mindset real fast. We talk about mental health and how we get attacked every day, right? When I actually share, because you know I like to share my journey, man, with the world on my platform. When I shared that I went vegan, I was expecting to get more support, but here's the mental health attack. I started to get so many weird comments and messages, just that like somewhat bashing me, like yo, you about to get really skinny, you about to lose all your muscle, you wasting your whole bodybuilding career that you built up for 7 years, bro. Like you're silly for that. And I was getting and even guys from Chicago was throwing little shots at me, man. And you know, I can't wait to post this, because not even post this, but now I had a chip on my shoulder because once again, these people don't do science. People don't do research. Me being a nutritionist and knowing the research behind it, that even if I'm vegan, if I get the same protein, same carbs, same fats, same calories, I'm still going to put on muscle. It's just a little bit more difficult for as far as your vitamin intake. So I had a huge chip on my shoulder. I'm like, okay, you know, I've been like, you know, people have been doubting me my whole entire life. This gives me more energy. This gives me more go. So what I did, I proved the system wrong. I actually put on more muscle. I'm actually bigger than a year and a half ago.
Wow.
More stronger as well too. My skin, my energy, my hair. I feel absolutely amazing. I never felt this good in my life, man.
That's absolutely amazing. Now, on that topic of building muscle, you know, how are you able to keep your protein intake that really high without touching any meat at all? And on top of that, like a lot of, correct me if I'm wrong, but from my research, a lot of vegan sources, they're artificially like, you know, they put a lot of sodium to keep the taste and the flavor and stuff like that. How does that impact, you know, having a lot of sodium intake or like frozen food? So protein intake and sodium, how does that impact your weightlifting and your entire health and nutrition?
Yeah, so like trying to figure it out, and thank God I had somebody in my life that actually been vegan their whole life. So trying to figure it out and trying to put my meals together to make sure I hit my macros. It was tough the first time, but actually doing a lot of freestyling, because a lot of people don't really know about the vegan culture. So they kind of go in stores and they see these packaged meals, like you said, the artificial stuff, right? And usually it's just like with meats, the artificial stuff isn't good because they pack it up with so much stuff. But luckily, being creative through meals and my girlfriend teaching me how to cook and being able to like load my meals up with protein, carbs, and fats. Like, for example, I take in a lot of tofu. I take in a lot of lentils, lentil pasta, and I make little meals within it. Another thing that I do, supplements. That's the key thing for both people that eat meat, people that's plant-based. Protein shakes is a green light. It is essential because why? Let's be real on both sides. Trying to get all your macros, your protein in just all meals, that shit is hard, man. You're walking around trying to eat 7 whole meals, 8 whole meals. No, if I take a shake that has 40 grams of protein in 1 scoop, I can double that if I want to, and then combine it with the meals that I take in. Right. And this is a great thing about the sodium because everybody, this is a king thing that I get asked about veganism. Yes, being a vegan, it is loaded with sodium, but let's talk about sodium real fast in 2 aspects. You need sodium for your body to actually, and your muscles to absorb it, to grow. If you're not getting enough sodium, what happens is the food that you take in and the protein is not getting absorbed. It sits on top of your muscle. It never goes inside. So how to manipulate sodium though, high sodium? Let's talk about water intake. Now, being a vegan, I have to drink more water. Now, when I used to eat meat, yeah, it was kind of easy. I had to take in maybe just a gallon of water because you're going to pee it out and you're going to sweat it out. But being a vegan, taking in more sodium, that's more water. So I just added a gallon and a half. You know what I'm saying? And by me being able to drink that and pee the sodium out, I'm getting tighter. My muscles are absorbing all the sodium. That's why I put on so much mass being a vegan. So really, I take it as a plus because I wasn't getting a lot of sodium with eating meat because I didn't season my meals a lot. By being vegan, since it is high sodium, it's somewhat of an advantage. And I just got to put in a little bit more work with water.
Yeah, so you're breaking all kinds of stereotypes. Number one, where you came from, your journey of losing 100 pounds. Number two, transitioning to this vegan lifestyle. So from someone that's been, successful in this, of course, we want to ask you, what are some top vegan diet sources that you would recommend for people?
Oh, awesome, man. And we're going to talk about vitamins as well with that. So as far as with sources, I would tell everybody if you're going to be a vegan, if you want to get your protein intake a little bit fast and be able to hit your macros, find a good plant-based company that sells good plant-based protein. That's number one because you're going to need them shakes because it's real tough to get them meals in. So if you add that with your regimen, no matter what, you're going to actually be able to get half your protein in. Number two, here's another source, tofu. Tofu packs a lot of protein in one little block. And one little block of tofu is 72 grams of protein right there.
Wow.
Let's talk about 3. Lentils. Lentils is loaded with protein. Now, it is carbohydrates in it as well, so it's very indexed, but it's loaded with protein. Lentil pasta.
Yeah.
It is loaded with protein. Beans. Let's talk about all types of beans. Loaded with protein. Once again, mixed with carbohydrates as well. So you're getting you're getting a dual, plus you're getting your fats. So them sources I named, protein shake, tofu, lentil pasta. We talk about tempeh. I take that in a lot. That's loaded with protein. People forget about that. So these little lists, and of course, you do have your protein from the package. Like you go to grocery stores and you see the packaged meat, like the sausages, the vegan sausages. You even got a mock of a vegan egg that I eat as well. Wow. It is processed. I'm gonna always be real, people on here. It is processed, so it's carry a little bit more sodium, a little bit more fat, but it does carry protein. But if you balance everything out with water, cardio, and exercise, you're still gonna absorb it. Your body's gonna love it.
Wow.
Okay.
And you mentioned you're able to also get your nutrition goals, right? Your macros. I mean, we're talking about protein, but pretty sure macros play a role as well with let's say, for example, if you're not eating a steak, where do you get your fats from? Other than the avocados and nuts.
Oh, great. Yeah. So outside of avocado, I get my fats through a lot. I get my fats through let's talk about nuts. I eat my almonds. That's big in fats. Cashews is huge in fats. So a lot of the nuts, I get a lot of my fats from there. A lot of the foods, it comes out of that naturally. And then I use coconut oil, natural coconut oil. I put on my bread and stuff like that. So I get it from fruits as well. Of course, with sugar with that. So I try to get it as much through a lot of sources of spinach, vegetables, tons of it. So I try to go the natural way as much as possible. I can eat avocado like an apple, honestly.
So, and again, just to go back, you said no meat. That means you're no seafood as well. That's out of your diet as well.
Oh, nope, no seafood.
Oh, wow.
Nope.
Awesome. Impressive.
Nope.
That's crazy. That's awesome, though.
I'm actually afraid to even ever touch it, man. I'll probably get real sick. Probably get real sick.
But yeah, I mean, now your body's so used to it happens. It happens to people, when they switch diets and they stick to one for a really long time. Like for me personally, if I'm eating clean for even a month, like no junk, no sugar, nothing, when I start adding like unnecessary food, my stomach takes a toll. Like it happens, your body goes to changes so often. It's really impressive that you've been able to keep it off for so long. And I really hope that, you keep going with it.
Thank you, man. Yeah, man. I really never can see myself going back, and how your body works. And people just think your body is just like this thing that you control. No, your body is a real living creature. It won't even let you go back. Your body won't mutate back to that because it's so tough to get it back in that system. Your metabolism is going to go into emergency mode. Whereas if you even try to go that route, it'll take a long time. You will be sick. Your body will fight you so much if I try to go that route. And then let's be real. Mentally, your body, I don't think mentally, you won't be able to go back that route. You'll kill yourself. You'll go insane. Unless realistically we talk about life, if something dramatic happened to anybody, myself, you, family, just something that would probably throw you off completely. We don't want to talk about deaths and stuff like that. Yeah, I've seen people go into these dark holes and these dark moments, and then they do fall off and go back to that. Sometimes it's hard to recover from something mentally that's going to damage you,
Yeah.
It is.
So like
for most of us, that comes with injuries. So it's really the same thing.
Injuries, yep. And
yeah. So what you've accomplished now, and with your transformation, of course, now people ask you for all this advice. You're certified in so many ways. Kind of the question would be, what keeps you going? Is it like what we mentioned, being the lifestyle that it is, you can't go back and you're so used to it? Just what keeps you going?
Keeps me going, man. I keep on making new goals. I tell everybody that. Like, say if I help a client, which I've helped clients lose 20 to 30 pounds, and I always tell them, how do you keep going? How do you keep building? Of course, keep looking at that mirror, number one. And number two, just keep making new goals, keep striving. It's just like when you open up a business, right? You get one location, right? You start getting that profit, you start building, and then what? You start feeling really comfortable and you start liking the income that you're making. So you said, what happened if I add another location to that and build on top of that? It's the same thing with fitness. You look at yourself, you feeling strong, look at your body, you said, what happened if I keep going and start seeing changes? You start making new goals. Maybe you want to hit 180, and 180 looks amazing, you look great. But after looking in the mirror for another 3 months, 4 months, you say, what happens if I pack on 20 more pounds? I want to get 200. Make new goals, you keep striving.
Right.
You might see other body parts, shoulders, legs. You be like, I want to get my legs a little bigger. Let me start working on that more. That's the amazing thing about this, man. You just keep going. And then last but not least, I feel like not only because I have a business in fitness, I really have a strong why. We didn't talk about that. And this is what I really want to hit everybody with, been saving it. If you don't have a why in life, right, you won't go anywhere far. Now, you're probably going to ask me, Wes, what's your why? I have a daughter. I have a family. I grew up so rough. My upbringing was so tough, being like super didn't have anything like financially, like living on the south side of Chicago, which is the worst side of Chicago. A lot of killings, a lot of stuff, growing up in that environment and watching my little sister, my little brother, and my big brother, my mom struggled because my dad left us a long time ago. Looking at that environment, my why was too strong to get everybody out, and me pushing for my passion, my dream. And I knew that fitness was going to take me to that level where I'm able to, take care of my family. Thank God I opened up a ballet company. And now I'm able to help out my mom and pay her mortgage and stuff like that. But as far as passion wise, I'm absolutely in love with fitness. I can't even put anything to top that, man. I know for a fact I'm going to be successful in this career field. And I've seen people that's living in the 7-figure world in fitness, and they absolutely love it. It's their job. And I can see me in that lineup. And my why is going to take me to that lineup.
Absolutely. And for me personally, you're setting an inspiration. I'm going to be up there with you. I'm going to be picking your brain as much as I can, because it's really motivating me to not even go ahead to do it even more so. And one thing I've always talked to my friends and talked to people, that there's so many people that I know just come to the gym, work out, and head out. They don't care about diet. They don't care about things. They just want to just be there for the sake of lifting weights or, being in shape. I tell them that when it comes to fitness, and again, this is from personal experience, and you've touched on this so well, is that you cannot stop at one thing. You cannot be like, I want to achieve that weight, I want to achieve that specific month or whatever target is. That does not end. You have to keep going. You have to keep pushing, and that's the only way you'll love the whole process of, like, challenging yourself.
Yes. Oh my God, I can't agree more. I
So
cannot.
real quick from that, actually, Wes, knowing what you know now, what you've gone through, if you were to go back and tell your old self before this journey, what to expect, is it worth it, is it not? For someone listening out there going through something that you went through before you went through it, what would you tell them?
I would tell myself, man, I'm so glad you asked that question. If I can walk up to myself, the West, the same person now that I am, that was overweight and that was crushed and that was hurt, that was made fun of, I would grab his hand and I would say, hey man, no matter what, I want you to love yourself. You have a beautiful soul. You're a beautiful person. You're a giving person. You're a God-fearing person. No matter what, you're a beautiful human being. God made everybody beautiful. And the words that people say is irrelevant, because no matter what, you're going to love yourself. God is going to love yourself. And the people that really love you, they're going to support you no matter what. Even if you're 280, even if you're 300, even if you're overweight, they're going to love you no matter what, who you are. So number one, everybody that's listening, I want you to take that and apply it. And once you apply that, you don't care what nobody say. You do what's best for you. You do what you want to do. Don't let anybody provoke you to do something to change yourself, because then you're trying to impress other people. You're not doing it for yourself. At first, I wasn't doing it for myself. I was somewhat doing it for myself, but I was somewhat hurt. And I think I had a chip on my shoulder. So I was doing it to please everybody else. So I could kind of just be like, yo, like maybe if I do this, people will love me more. Maybe girls will like me more. Maybe guys will let me lift with them, be friends. I was so brainwashed into that. Now I do everything for me, man. I do everything for Wes Patterson. I do everything for my family. I do everything to uplift and motivate people around me to see them bring the best version of themselves. That key word, bring the best version of themselves. That's all I'm trying to do for myself. That's all I'm trying to provide for everybody else. The thing is, you have to build the best version of you. That's what I would tell everybody, and that's what I would tell the old West that was looking in that mirror and that was hurt.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the basic of it. If you're not happy with yourself, if you're not happy with what you're doing, you will never be you will never be happy, period. If you're not happy with what you're trying to achieve and how far you've come, a lot of people get demotivated by saying, oh, I put in a month worth of work and you just lost 5 pounds. They're not going to see that they lost 5 pounds. They're going to be like, oh, I didn't lose 10 or 20 pounds, So that's a very, very inspirational thing that you've really talked about right now, Wes. One thing I want to ask you: have you competed in any shows or like any kind of competition?
Yeah, I did, man. I started my bodybuilder career in 2017, and I know you're probably gonna ask, man, what drove you to do that? So, like in 2016 and then early 2017, I was looking good. I was looking pretty decent. Wasn't looking like a crazy sick, like ripped dude, but I was pretty decent. And I was coming in the gym, man, and we talk about discipline and just going cold turkey. I was seeing some guys that I've never in my life seen on TV or nothing. I didn't know what bodybuilding was, but their body fat percentages was really low, and they looked fucking unhuman, man. They looked really, really good. And I was like, man, how do I don't look like, I look decent, but I don't look like that. So I'm like trying to figure it out. And I seen this guy, man, he was damn near 53 years old, and he looked unreal. He looked amazing. So I was always kind of shy. And one day I just walked up to him and I said, hey man, like, you look amazing. Like, what do you do? Like, you a trainer or something? He said, I'm a bodybuilder. I'm like, so you a person that builds your body? He was like, he laughed. He said, no, man, I'm a bodybuilder. I compete. I compete in bodybuilder shows. I go against other guys on stage, and we try to, whoever look the best, get a trophy. So I'm like, yeah. And me, with my mindset and my goals, I'm like, yeah, I want to do that. How much do you charge? He's like, I don't think you understand. This thing is real, man. It's not just like, it's another world. So I'm like, yeah, who I am, man. I think I can do that. I want to achieve it. So we met up. Long story short, we met up, told me the prices, told what I had to do. And he was like, just think about it for a minute. Let me know. Give me a call. The next day I gave him a call. I said, yeah, man, I looked up some stuff. I picked out a show I want to do. I'm going to register. And I want to do the division with the little board shorts. And he said, man's physique. I said, yeah. He's like, okay, let's do it. I paid him the money, and I jumped into bodybuilding in 2017. What the shocking thing in the world because now you're going into another level. Like you're bringing the best body that you've ever seen that you're probably going to only see on that one day because your body's going to skip. You want to elaborate? Or you want me to keep going?
No, go ahead. Of course, go ahead. And also, if you can like touch on, I'm really intrigued already by the fact that how you got into it. But if you can also touch into like people who are vegan and maybe are trying to compete, because I mean, right now your physique, your aesthetic is not too far. Maybe if you for yourself, maybe if you give it like 3 hard months, you might be able to compete again. So you can touch on the two aspects of it as like how your progress started into bodybuilding and then being a vegan. If you were to compete now, how would that process be for you?
Awesome. So I can touch right into that. So when I first started 2017, we registered for a show in April. And then we started to get ready in like November because he really didn't know. He thought I was actually going to just give up because it's tough. So I had 12 weeks. 12 weeks, we went to a deep prep, really deep prep, like at a point where you're not putting seasoning on your food, your carbohydrates low, everything, the numbers have to hit on point, no cheat meals or nothing. So this was a whole different transformation. Like I'm seeing my body transform into something insane. Low body fat percentage, like shreds, face was changing. Like, like you can see my cheekbones now because I've been doing all these shoots. So
yeah,
we went 12 weeks and next thing you know, we was 2 days out from the show. And I think that's when I really started to really go viral on social media because my body looked totally insane. I was a legit 6% body fat. Wow. Face was completely sunk in like a skeleton. My mom was worried about me. A lot of people were worried about me. And believe it or not, man, dreams come true. It's crazy. My whole family, a lot of people from Chicago, it was a stacked show. It was a national show. I went up there, man, and I competed, and I actually won overall my first show. Wow. I won novice, and I won open, won overall, and I got my OCB pro card.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. And now you can say that you've achieved the highest level of bodybuilding.
Yeah. Oh my God, I can't believe that, man. And after that, man, I did 6 more other shows. After that, I won another one, and after that, this is when it gets into like a good play. What you talked about, I started to understand bodybuilding and the culture of it and the sport. What happened after my second show, I had won that one as well. And then your ego started to get out of place a little bit. I'm not going to lie. I started to think like my physique was the best. And when I started hitting these real top shows with these real top dudes, I really couldn't stand next to them, honestly. They was a lot bigger. Their muscle was a lot mature, a lot denser. So I started placing like second, third, fourth, and then like fifth show, I had placed fifth, which really hurt me. I went to Minnesota, and then I got mad. I wanted to redeem myself. Did another 8 weeks. This is all back to back, and then I placed third. And after placing third, my body just pretty much gave out somewhat. Did I blank out?
No. You were talking.
Okay.
Just the screen.
My body kind of gave out. I was getting really small, and then I understood then like I had to get bigger. So I shut it down and went to like a full bulk.
Yeah. Awesome. And I'm assuming that being a vegan that you are now, I mean, you're still able to do your shoots and maintain the aesthetic. It's going to be similar process when you're cutting down just in terms of calories and probably the macros that might change, correct?
Yeah. So only difference is with being a vegan because I haven't competed yet being a vegan. So long story short, I was going to compete in March in 2020. And we all know, COVID hit, and I was 2 weeks out from the show, got canceled. So I had to postpone, then try to do another show, got canceled. Then, of course, fast forward, crossed over to vegan. And by me trying to compete as a vegan, it is a little difficult because what you said, the sodium intake, the carb intake, and then the ending process, meaning the ending process, drying out, actually trying to come in really tight. It is very different now because you're trying to cut down pretty much carbs at the end. And think about it. I think I know you know this because you're a smart guy. A lot of protein, as far as what vegans take in, carbohydrates is in it.
Of course. It is 100%.
So yep. So it's very difficult now because if you coach or if you're trying to deplete yourself, you can't have carbs.
I mean, you have one Impossible Burger and it has like about 20, 30 grams of carbs in it that comes with it.
Exactly. So what I will have to do is go into that deep dark mode and go really cold turkey and probably just finish it out with just nothing but tofu, because tofu doesn't have carbohydrates in it. So yes, that means that whole 2 weeks, it will be nothing but tofu and probably like broccoli.
That's really interesting. I mean,
That's
it's
crazy.
crazy, but I mean, people. I'm pretty sure that yourself, there are many vegans out there that compete. So really, really like prop to them to even like having that mindset. Now, one thing I want to, well, it's not really one thing, but it's like the major question, because you've lost 100 pounds, you're now on a completely vegan diet. What are the 10 mistakes that you've done in this whole process of losing weight that, again, going back to your old self, you would tell that person, hey, Wes, you know what? Don't do this, don't do this, don't do this. Let's start with 10. If you can narrow it down to 5, whatever you're comfortable with. But the mistakes that you learn in the way, and now you know that how not to do those mistakes.
Okay, great. So number one, noticing that when you're first starting off on your journey, you can't look at guys that have been in their journey for 5, 6 years, and you can't have cheat meals like they have cheat meals. You know what I'm saying? Like most people will have cheat meals every week, but starting off on your journey, you can't do that. You actually have to finish off the 8 weeks, 90 days straight without cheat meals, so you can get the progress that you want, because your body and your metabolism is not built like the average person that's been doing it 6 or 7 years. So it's a process. And what I used to learn looking at other guys, I say, oh, well, on Instagram, he has a cheat meal every Saturday. So I'm going to do it every Saturday as well. I'm going to crash a whole pizza. Wow. Next, you know, I would keep getting set back and get discouraged. Like, why is I'm not losing weight? It's because I had to put in more time to actually get the results. So I had to put that on a hold. That's number one. So anybody that's watching, you have to actually put the work in before you can earn that cheat meal, that long term, that 8 weeks, that 3 months. And then after you lose maybe 15, 20 pounds, treat yourself and then go back into that process. That's number one. Number two, really trying to learn the proper form of training. Big time, man. A lot of people go into just working out and they just don't know what they're doing. You can't laugh at these people. They're trying to figure it out. So what happens when you're performing exercises, you're doing it the wrong way, you are not getting gains, you're not getting progress. Actually, you're setting yourself up for injury. So I used to try to do that and it didn't work. I ended up like going through injuries, spraining muscles, and actually potentially could have been in a really bad situation. So I recommend anybody is to get professional work before you just go into the gym, get a membership, and now you're just lifting. No, because number one, yes, you do look silly. You know, I look at people and I don't laugh at them. I see them doing it wrong, and sometimes I'm nice and try to correct them. So always try to get that professional guy, that other eye that's going to actually show you. And if you start off doing it right, you start your journey off training right, oh man, you're going to be ahead of the game. So trying to get a professional, that's number two. Mistakes. Number three, trying to compare yourself to somebody else's physique. Everybody's genetic system is different. So by me looking at this guy and saying, if I do that, like you said, if I do the same exercise, if I do 10 sets, if I do deadlifts like that, I'm going to look like, no, you can't do that, because everybody is genetically built different. Everybody's mechanical system is built different. So we have to do totally different exercise. You can't train like he trained. You can't do the same cardio as he does and get the same results. So you have to make sure you're doing something so your body is changing. You have to do something that's going to work with your genetics, that's going to play with your mechanics, so you can change. So that's three. And number four, I think it's my biggest pet peeve. I think we talked about nutrition. Me trying to mimic somebody else. Like one time I tried to mimic Simeon Panda off his YouTube, tried to mimic every, food, all the foods he was eating, did not work. It really was bad, man, because actually I was actually gaining weight trying to follow him. And once again, he's been in the game since 17 years. So I did it for about, I'm not gonna lie, I'm gonna call myself, I did it about 8 weeks. And I actually gained like 10 pounds of fat trying to eat like him. You know, so I would tell anybody, do not ask anybody for their plan, their nutrition plan, or what they're doing. Whatever in their stories that they're eating, do not try to mimic it step by step. Maybe ask them little questions like, hey, why are you taking this much in, and get some science behind it. But do not mimic nobody's plan. Whatever that person's plan is, you need your own plan. That's 4. And one of the biggest mistakes. So 5. So we talked about training, right? We talked about trying to start off with doing your own stuff, right? And start off slow. Never try to lift far as weight wise as the same as another individual, because that's different than just training style. I used to try to go in and maybe I pick up like 40 pounds, see the next guy next to me, he got 80. So now I'm discouraged. And now my man pride is kicking in and say, I can do that. And you try to pump that boy up and damn near rip your chest off or rip your back off and really get injured. So starting off slow and not getting discouraged and saying, okay, I'm going to lift this. I can't get made up fun of. And doing it that way and gradually getting yourself up there, I'd recommend everybody to do that because I see it all the time. I was just listening here today. I was doing some shoulders. I had like some 80-pound dumbbells on the press. This guy next to me, he was lifting 20s, doing it real good. Something sparked inside of him. He picked up some 50s and it looked real bad, man. And actually, I encouraged him. I walked over there, spotted him. He put it down. He was grabbing his shoulder. He's like, man, it hurt. I said, this is what you do, man. You lifted 20, look real good. Just slowly go up 5 pounds. After you can't get it, your form is bad. Just actually stop. And he was like, thanks, man. He's like, I seen you pushing it. I'm like, damn, maybe I can do 50. That key word. So, like, always stick with your stuff and gradually work, and the process should work from there. I think that's the 5 that I got for now. I can't think off the top of my head.
Absolutely. And these are the 5 most crucial ones that you've just mentioned. You know what I mean? That's amazing. Now people can understand that what it takes to actually transform their body rather than just like looking at magazines, social media, influencers per se. Now we're going to wrap up, Wes. Again, thank you so much. I just have 2 quick things for you. Number one athlete or one, I guess, person that you want to work out with, dead or alive.
Dead or alive, one, right?
One, or if you have multiple.
I want to work out with Arnold Schwarzenegger.
That was the last person too. Last person, same thing.
Yeah, I want to work out with Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's the GOAT. He's the legend. I think he started everybody off, man, with bodybuilding. I don't think it's just like how all the basketball players look at Michael Jordan. Let's be real. He's the GOAT. And let's be real. Arnold Schwarzenegger is the GOAT. Nobody has more championships than him. To this day, Phil Heath doesn't. Nobody does. He's still the GOAT.
They're all like mashed up to him, Max.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And nobody will never pull that genetic look that he has. Nobody.
Yeah,
I think that honestly in the league, as far as bodybuilding, they kind of took it to a freakish level. Arnold looked good. He looked aesthetic. He looked amazing. I don't think nobody brought that look yet.
Yeah, definitely. The game has changed with the most recent Chris Bumstead. You know, that's an amazing physique as well. But the game has changed from when you look from like back then. They're like bigger and they didn't have as much shreds. Now they do. It's a whole different game. Definitely. Thank you so much, Wes. Just one quick thing. This is especially for myself and Talha and the listeners, that how can we keep pushing? There are days for me, being honest, where I don't want to work out. Where I don't want to wake up. I just want to do nothing. You know, it's like, but then I try to push myself, see what's the end goal. That's how I motivate myself. What would you say for a general audience? Like, keep going. Like, what is a big thing that they can just keep going?
Yeah, what I would say. It's days that I don't feel like working out. It's days that I don't feel like training. I'm just like, man, always look back at the progress you've made. Probably look back at some pictures. Look at the last 8 weeks or the last month and look at that progress, and then kind of look in the mirror and say, man, pat yourself on the back. Because sometimes we don't pat ourselves on the back and we look in the mirror and we get discouraged and we look at other people and we say, man, but we never pat ourselves on the back of how far we've came so far. And once you kind of look at that picture or even look at that scale, look at the weight that you dropped, look at the goal, then you will pick up and say, God, I did that. It's time to keep going. Let me keep going because the journey doesn't stop. Always think about the journey more than anything. It said journeys don't stop. They just keep on going. And always look at that tunnel vision. Look at the end of the tunnel of what you're really trying to achieve. And you will understand that little speed hump that's in front of you is just like a car. You go right over that motherfucker. You just drive right on it. Boop! It stop you a little bit. You bump once you go up on the speed hump, but eventually you go out and then it's that flat surface and you just keep on going forward.
Absolutely. Thank you once again, Wes. If people want to find you, they want to train with you, where can they find you, Wes?
Oh, definitely, man. They can find me on Instagram. My Instagram handle is Mr.Sir_Wes. They can find me there. That's my main platform that I'm always on. They can DM me. And Facebook, they can just look me up, Wes Patterson. I'm going to pop up, inbox me, hit me up. I'm definitely going to respond. I'm a nice guy.
Absolutely. And any questions you may have about being vegan or like going off meat, Wes is your man. Thank you so much for being with us, Wes. I appreciate it. I know you're traveling. And we definitely look forward to having another conversation with you again.
Definitely, man. Thank you guys so much for having me on your podcast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, and have a good day.
All right, have a good one, y'all.